kept letting her get away with not being accountable. Like I didn't hold her accountable. So I felt like because I was trying to be nice and thoughtful and understanding about where she was and some of the barriers that she may have encountered in family life, because when you're working with entrepreneurs, a lot of times like their personal life is bleeding all over the business.
What's up, y'all?
I'm Lauren.
And I'm Adrienne.
And this is the Two Mic,
Two Glasses podcast, where two best friends discuss business ownership and life. Life. How's life?
Girl, what is going on? What happened this weekend? I went to my little cousin's dance recital. She was so cute.
What type of dance was it?
They did ballet, tap, jazz, and interpretive. Is it called interpretive? What's the other dance called?
I know it's contemporary. Maybe?
Contemporary. Good job.
So you think you can dance? Taught me.
Oh, I used to love that show.
Yeah, that was my favorite show for so long.
It was such a good show.
But that sounds cute. How old is your cousin?
I think she's 13 or 14.
No. When you said it sounded like she was like little.
She's not. She's just my new cousin. You know what I'm saying? I got a new family, Shout out to the King family. Or, yeah, I think it's King Gordon,
I feel like
y'all.
You need to give a little background saying you have a new family, like how you have a new family.
I know. Okay, so my dad is 72 years old, and he found his brother maybe like a year or two ago, like a blood relative. So, of course,
it was like a half brother.
It's a half brother, yeah.
That he never knew about?
No, he didn't know he had any siblings. He thought he was the only child for 70 years. So it's just kind of crazy because now he has 3 siblings, I think.
He found out about 3 siblings?
Yeah.
What was going on with this on the dad's side?
Yeah. So his dad was just not like, he wasn't in my dad's life.
Okay.
So we didn't know anybody on that side at all. And they did like 23andMe, and my mom was like, Carl, I think you have some family in here. Like, because my mom did everything.
It's like, this relative
this might be like
potential brother.
Right.
Can you imagine? Yeah. No, I mean, I can't imagine because we had a similar, story too with my cousin. Yeah. And with my mom's side too. So my mom had a father who she didn't know that well, and he had multiple kids and stuff after, over the years after she was born. And so she knew like some of the siblings, but then I was doing tests. I did like a 23andMe, and then there were more people that were like popping up, and so they were looking for their siblings too. Yeah, so we actually connected with 1 or 2 more siblings of hers through me being on 23andMe.
That's cruel. That's like, does it change your life? Like, I just think about how close I am to my siblings, and like if there were more of us, I don't know, it'd be like, I don't know how I would process that. But
I think it all has to do with like if you have an idea that they even exist or not. If you had no idea they even existed, like that would be really crazy. That would be the shock. Like that is life.
Exactly what happened.
But if like most of the time, like my mom knew she had, and your dad, it sounds like he maybe had an idea. Oh, we didn't have the idea that we not even like an inkling. Like,
we didn't know that man. We didn't know nothing about them.
Okay.
Nothing about them. And it's actually a blessing because it's like we all just kind of mesh like puzzle pieces. Like we like the same thing. They had karaoke in the basement. Girl, when I tell you we was down there, because you know how our family do with karaoke now. So now the whole family is doing karaoke. Oh my goodness. It was just it's a blast. And like every time we see them, it just, it doesn't feel like new family.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That was really cool.
That's really awesome.
So shout out to my new fam.
Yeah.
You feel like old fam?
To them. Yeah, I mean, even that reminds me again about my family too, because on my dad's side, I have a first cousin that he found our family like maybe 6 years ago now. And like, I had no idea he existed. He was in his 50s. When he found our family, he was adopted. My uncle and the woman that my uncle was with, when they were very like in young 20s, maybe even teenager, they had a child and gave the child up for adoption. And 55 years later, he found our family and he lived 10 minutes away from where I grew up. All this time, and now I know him and I love him. Shout out to Mark.
I know.
If you're out there listening.
Y'all are fun.
Love you.
Mark's fun.
So yeah, families.
I know.
I don't. It's a lot.
It is a lot. But, you know, happy to have them. Happy to spend my weekend with the fam.
Yes.
And yeah, so that was the crux of it all, because the rest of it I just worked, clean. I ain't do nothing else. I'm boring. What about you? What'd you do?
I had a date on Saturday. It was fun, but the funniest part about it was so we went to Rosa Mexicano in the National Harbor, and the weather was like beautiful on Saturday, so we were able to sit outside. And unbeknownst to us, there was a live band that was coming on, and so they were actually the Air Force band.
Oh, so wait, it was like a band, like with trombones and
it was full instruments, people on microphones, and they all had fatigue on because they were in the Air Force.
Oh wow!
And so we're sitting there, you know, and they get on like it was towards the end of our meal. We ended up like staying there longer, and there were other people eating that were looking too. And you know, the band was mainly white or whatever. I think there was one black guy on the guitar. But they came out, they were doing Michael Jackson, they were doing, hopefully, I think they maybe did Aretha Franklin. It was like, it was a little advantageous of them to do those songs. And almost everybody sitting around us was black and they were older. And so we're all looking like,
what y'all doing? Was there soul in the presentation? Was it? You know, I used to be in the band in Hampton now, and there were some games where we played different schools, like we played Princeton, which was really fun. But they basically just stopped playing and watched us, because, you know, it was like, well, what's the point of them? They were like, we just not going to try no more.
Yeah.
They had their music out and everything, and I was like, do you guys really have the, like... What is that? But anyway,
you can't do it like HBC.
They can't do it like that. So like, how was
the soul? The soul was missing. It was soulless, but the voices were like not bad.
Oh, they were like singing.
Yeah, it was a woman and a man singing.
Okay.
And the man was like really in it. He was doing he was giving like Bruno Mars vibes. He was dancing live.
Wait, Bruno Mars has soul. Wait a minute, don't come from.
Well, his dancing had soul, but the vocal ability didn't have any soul.
Okay.
So it was like it was
like Broadway, sort of, you know.
Yeah, that's a
Broadway?
Huge compliment.
Oh, that's not. Oh, it wasn't.
But it was not bad. It was definitely very entertaining. We're like, oh, free music, like a free live music.
Yeah, I love live entertainment.
And then when they switched to the white songs or whatever, people weren't dancing and stuff anymore. So it was like the energy went down. So I guess, you know, our music gets people dancing, gets the crowd going.
Oh, this is way off topic. Way off topic. However, there was a 100 top albums ever released by Apple Music. The questions that need answers from this list of people.
What was number one?
Number one was The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill.
Okay.
I love Lauryn Hill. Is that the best album of all time ever in the history of music?
I feel like because was that her only album?
It was her only album. And outside of her work with the Fugees, but like,
I feel like
she had to unplug, but that was the same songs.
Yeah, I think it was. I think because it was her only album and it was really good.
It was perfect.
It's like easy to kind of vote for it. And, you know, because then you're comparing it with like all these other albums that people had, and then you have to choose the best. So collectively, more people are going to like that album because it was her only one and it was good. They don't have anything to like separate.
I love Lauryn Hill. I'm not named after Lauryn Hill. Somebody asked me that. I'm like, do you know how old I am? She was not out when I was born. Anyway, what I will say is this, though. Thriller was number 2. Thriller should have been number 1. Also in the top 10 was Purple Rain, Abbey Road by the Beatles. There were some that shouldn't have been there, but I will say this. Thriller should have been number 1.
Yeah, I do.
Thriller. Not only was it a fantastic album, there were basically like all singles off that album. Like basically everything was a hit. Additionally, it sold probably more than any. I don't know the numbers for sure. In my mind, I feel like it's the highest selling album of all time.
Yeah.
And then last but not least,
because when I think about it, it's like I feel like Thriller is like super internationally known.
Yeah.
But Miseducation, I don't know.
I think it is. I think Miseducation is up there. Like it should be in the top 10.
Mm-hmm.
Should it be number 1? But Thriller, the video, it started that theatrical video thing. It was transformative, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like Thriller came out and it changed how things are done in music, in my opinion.
Yeah.
As a not music industry expert. But this is just what I think. The fact that I think Thriller came out before I was born. When did Thriller come out? 80 something. We were kids. We were like little kids. And I know Thriller. My godchild, who is now graduating from high school, knows Michael Jackson and it was a huge fan. Like was a transformational album and it defies generations. It ages well. There's no way it should have been number 2. Anyway, That was a long rant. I'm sorry. But there were also people left off the list that pissed me off. Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey, Luther Vandross, Earth, Wind & Fire, Chicago. These are all some of the best bands I've ever heard. Music is still played in movies and videos.
Mm-hmm.
That it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I don't know who picked this list.
Yeah. I don't know either. But Apple do better.
It's like experts. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But anyway, it sounds like...
And then Usher's Confessions was 95. How rude. How rude. Anyway, Lauren.
It sounds like we need a drink.
We do. What are we drinking today? So today we are drinking for our bougie audience. This is for the girlies with a little bit of coin, honey. We are taking some Prisoner. This is a 2021 Prisoner. It's a red blend. Very, very delicious wine.
Yes.
Oh, it's one of my favorites. So cheers to that. Ooh.
Yumma. All right. So,
what are we talking about today?
Make me want to...
Is that the right song?
Oh, yeah. Make me want to throw my... I don't even know the words. Oh, God.
Okay.
That's
sad.
Scratch that. But
you want to throw my pages out the window. Tell MCI to cut the phone off. Break my lease so I can move. Cause you a bugaboo. A bugaboo. I think we did okay. You know, Destiny. We came up on the Destiny of Child, the Children of Destiny. And that was one of my favorite albums. So Bugaboo, honey. We're talking about people who bug you.
yes.
Clients who bug you in particular.
Yes.
Difficult clients. So
Sorry, this is another rant, but as we sang that song, I thought about my ex-boyfriend.
Uh-oh.
And I remember I called him a bugaboo and he was just so hurt. He was so hurt.
I really want to know what you're talking about.
Specifically that where you remember what we
Who are you talking about?
Okay. My last ex.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So
Wait. Like official.
yeah.
Not like
Boyfriend.
no homeless.
Ex-boyfriend.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah. So I called him Bugaboo. And his feelings are hurt. So just so you pick that. But anyway, we're talking about well, it could be a man that's a Bugaboo, but this Bugaboo is difficult client.
Yes.
Your business Bugaboo.
Because clients, they know how to tap dance on your absolute last nerve, but they are paying you. You want to serve them. You like what you're doing. You want them to get the best experience.
Yes.
You want them to enjoy
Yes.
the process of your servitude or whatever. And sometimes there are just things that happen out of your control. You can't control how people feel about you.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what you can control is your reaction to the things that they may do.
Yeah. So yeah,
let's start off with that.
Yeah. So like just in business in general, I've found that there's no way to avoid having a difficult client. If you have a difficult client, it may actually be a sign that your business is growing, because the more people you serve, it's hard to have every single client be, perfect. So
yeah.
Yeah, I feel like, so I guess we're going to give some tips today on, how to manage them and just about them. So the first tip is that it happens to everybody. It happens to every business, no matter what the size is. Coca-Cola has had difficult clients. IKEA has had difficult clients. And I know because I worked there for some years.
Why is this new information? I've never heard you say you worked at IKEA.
That was my first job.
How old are you?
I was a senior in high school and I started there.
Oh, that sounds horrible. They have so much stuff.
Yeah, it was crazy. It's crazy. I almost got fired too.
Oh, yeah. So no, you can't just gloss over that.
Okay.
How did you almost get fired from IKEA?
So I was, I've been working there for a while, so it wasn't like I just started. But I was working in Smallland, which is the child care facility, and a child escaped during my time working in Smallland when I was checking kids in. And when the mom came, one of her kids was there and the other kid was not. And they found the kid barefoot at checkout, which is clear across the other side of the store. So I got the blame. It was not just my fault.
Oh,
I got the blame.
And they fired you?
No, I didn't get fired. But I got transferred to furniture pickup.
Oh, that's messed up.
Is customer service, difficult client. So it all comes together. My story.
Oh, full circle.
But anyway,
you lost the child.
Well, okay. It was a lot. It was a setup. I'll say that.
And setup.
I gotta tell the rest of the story for another time.
Okay.
It
was a long.
Yeah. How me losing the child? It wasn't like.
Yeah, you are pretty responsible.
Yeah. So it was a setup. It was
the man.
But anyway, the child's okay.
No children were harmed in the telling of the story.
But yeah, so I say all that to say that even IKEA, difficult clients, that family name was difficult. They were difficult. So everybody, and they probably complained and stuff too. So they would be considered a difficult client to IKEA. And then us in our small businesses, we also have difficult clients.
That's true.
Don't take it personal. It doesn't mean that your business sucks. Or that you suck.
Sometimes they suck.
Yeah, sometimes they do suck. More times
than not.
The difficult client is the one that sucks.
Yeah. And something you told me that really encouraged me when I was having a tough time with the client, you were like, I mean, people return stuff to Louis Vuitton. Or you said some store. And I was like, and that's like a really great place. Does Louis Vuitton take returns? I've never bought anything from there, but
yeah, I don't know if Louis Vuitton. Well, maybe I don't know, but
I would.
Yeah,
so.
But you return stuff
all the time,
everywhere, and you don't
even know why.
Yeah, that store could sell perfect or nearly perfect items, and it still is going to be returned, or there's still going to be people that are dissatisfied with it. So that definitely, it comes into our businesses and y'all's future current businesses as well. Like you could have the best product or service that you're offering and you still are going to get dissatisfied clients and returns. It actually, when you look like on Facebook pages or Google reviews, if you see like a perfect like review score, it like looks fake.
It does. Sometimes it does. Yes.
Yeah.
or there's only like 10 people.
Yeah, it's like,
or it's like a very small number of people.
Yeah, so like the more reviews and stuff that you have, it's going to be mixed, but obviously you want it to be more positive than negative.
Yeah.
But to have no negative reviews usually is, especially if you have been in business for a while and stuff, is usually like unrealistic. And, yeah.
So our advice is to use it as a lesson, use it as a stepping stone. It's a way to learn what not to do or to learn who you don't want to work with. It is a way to figure out what you're great at, maybe what you're not so great at, or figure out ways to automate. Like, it's a great lesson to run into someone who's not 100% satisfied, because all it'll help you do is to hone your craft and sharpen your tools. So
definitely. What do you feel like is like it? One, you can say more than one if you want, but a learning lesson that you got in from working with a difficult client.
Difficult client A. So
DCA.
DCA. Oh, DCA. I learned from a client that in part of the service that I was providing, like I was doing too much, right? So I had an advisory client and I was preparing plan after plan for advisory for this client. Like, I wanted them to do worksheets and I wanted them to really buy into everything we were going through, because in preparation, like as we were selling this to them and having our sales calls, they were so invested in what we were doing. They were just really ready to get to work. And she didn't do nothing that I gave her. Nothing. Like, I came up with a draft proposal plan and written out for the 90 days. This is what we want to do. This is what we want to accomplish in the first 30 days. This is what we want to accomplish in the first 60. This is what we're going to accomplish by the end of your 90-day advisory. It's going to be awesome. Everything's going to get done, right? And I was like, I want you to sign off and I want you to invest and I want you to commit, right? And then we get to the first workbook of things. Like, I have prepared this workbook from scratch, by the way. Like, I am preparing things as they're going along, thinking about everything she needs to do and trying to get her to write it out and, come on, right?
Yeah.
She didn't touch a paper, not one, right? Not one. She didn't do any of the assignments we talked about as we were going through trying to get her business to the place that it needed to be.
Yeah.
She really just, and I understand entrepreneurs don't have a lot of time, right? I was trying to work through things with her on the call. So it's not like I sent her home with 5 hours of homework to do after our advisory calls. Obviously, we don't have that type of time. But it was things that I needed her to think through in her business to really help us to shape her products and services better, to get her pricing better. And on top of that, like, she just wasn't doing the day-to-day things in her business that would allow us to use that information to the best of our ability either. So it was like, I was more invested in her doing well than she was. And it was just like the most frustrating thing ever. And then, of course, at the end, she's like, well, what have we done? What have we gotten done? What, I feel like I'm in the same place I was when we started. And I'm like, yeah, you probably are, because you've completely ignored everything that I've asked you to do. You are not open to learning. You are not teachable. And
did you tell her that she was not open to learning and not teachable?
No, not in that way.
Okay.
Not as direct, but we did have conversations that shed light on her behavior as part of the reason why she is not there.
Yeah.
And what I learned was sometimes maybe what I did was try to steer the ship a little too much and not let her take the lead. Because while I definitely was keeping her goals in mind for this advisory, it was like I think she maybe wasn't as ready to take on what we were trying to get her to get to.
Yeah.
She needed to do a little bit more mindset work. And I had to really take a step back and figure out how I want to deal with clients, because that was a huge waste of time.
Yeah.
A huge waste of time.
Yeah.
And sometimes especially in coaching and advisory, you have to let them lead in a way and kind of meet them where they are. You can't want something more for someone else than they want it for themselves, because it's just going to leave you devoid of energy and extremely frustrated.
Yeah.
And then child, she didn't try. It was a whole nother thing with a feedback call we had. Girl, she tried to bring her husband on to talk to us as if he was going to berate us in some way. Child, honey,
was he acting crazy?
He was trying to assert himself more than she could. That was part of the problem. Was they were, they needed separation, because did they work together? They didn't technically work together, but he had invested a lot in her business, and so he was really putting a lot of pressure on her. But in all honesty, and this is all the shade, I am shading. Like, we don't need any
this Bugaboo
clarification shady that this is shade.
Yes.
I don't know who takes out money to invest in a business with no plan. To me, the flaw was in the beginning logic to do that in the first place. So now you're putting pressure on this woman, and she didn't really have a greatly fleshed out plan to make that money back in the first place. Now, could she have? Yes, I believed in her business. I thought she was extremely talented with what she was doing. And I do believe that the approach that she took with her clients was unique in that space. She had years and years of experience, and she actually was a pleasant person to talk to and be around. The issue wasn't really her or her personality or even her business. The issue was her mindset and her ability to actually implement things required to bring her business to the next level.
Yeah.
To be honest. So it was just that call was illuminating.
Yeah.
But I learned so much from that experience. So much. And now, with one of the advisory clients I have now, I have really taken what I learned from her and applied it to this new client, and she said on the call, this is exactly what I needed. Good. And that is exactly what you want to hear when you are talking to a client that you are advising on how to move to the next step. Yeah. She also listens to us and does what she says she's going to do.
Yeah.
But that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah. I feel like in those cases, one of the things that I learned is that you kind of you do something with them. So like if it's something where they're not paying you enough to do it all for them, so you do some things with them, and then you give them like a couple things for them to do. And then the next time you meet, you circle back about what they did or not do. And so if they didn't do it, you never move forward. So
and
you keep giving that to them each time.
We were just stuck. I was like, lady,
But you have to sometimes you have to kind of tell them that they are the one that is keeping this from moving forward. And sometimes you can pivot or maybe there's something easier I can give you. So but yeah.
A lot of times it's very difficult when they are the bottleneck. If I could do work without her, fine. Like a lot of times with bookkeeping clients, they are not always super responsive, but there is a lot that I can do to push forward and it not create so much of a bottleneck that it kind of delays everything. You know what I mean? But in this case, when it's really just one-on-one coaching, it's all dependent on her. Or her ability to delegate, you know what I mean? But part of it was like, what's your mission statement? What's your vision statement? She couldn't even just write it down, copy and paste it from wherever. Do you already have it? Because if you don't have that stuff spelled out for your new small business, how are you, what are you basing the rest of everything on?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that is definitely some basic. So
it was frustrating. I was like, I don't know why I'm fading myself. It's not hot.
Oh, you get hot because of that story?
I'm not hot, but I just, yeah. It was so frustrating. Oh my God. Anyway. So yeah, that was one learning. Do you have a specific learned lesson or?
I learned this later than I would have liked to learn it, but the importance of firing clients. when you are first in business, especially when you're first full time in business, you're like trying to take whatever you can get. Like money is money. It's all green or whatever. And so you're just doing what you can to bring in consistent money.
I'm sure you're enjoying this episode, but we wanted to quickly pop in to let you know about the cool swag we're wearing today. AMW Apparel is a line of inspirational and entrepreneurial clothing for those looking to stand out and make a statement to their following. We provide comfortable and high-quality t-shirts, sweatshirts, tank tops, and more. Enter code 2mics2glasses, which is the number 2, MICS, the number 2 again, GLASSES, with no spaces, for 10% off your first order at shopwithamw.com. Link in the description. We appreciate your support.
But I learned that all money ain't good money.
Yeah.
And
say it one more time for the people in the back.
Yes, all money is not good money. So like now when I look at certain things that people are like proposing for me to do or something, I'm like, is this good money or bad money? Like, is this pain in the ass money, or is this, oh, I'm going to like working on this? Is this, I'm feeling out the client too. Is this someone I even want to work with? But yeah.
Are they asking me to do things that are extremely unrealistic in an unrealistic amount of time?
Yeah. So, so you can definitely fire the client. So there's a couple ways that you can do it. One, before they even become a client, you can actually tell them on a prospect call that it's just not the right fit. Like you're not going to be able to serve their needs. And you don't even have to have a reason really to do it. If you ain't feeling their vibe, chuck the deuce. Yeah, you could say that in a polite way. But let's say you're working with them already. Let me think about a client I already was working with that I wanted to fire. I actually have two. So I'll say, one that I fired and one that was I told her she was fired and then she tried to come back. So, so I had this one client and she came to me. She already had a website that was up, but she needed changes to it. And it was a WordPress site, which I only work with WordPress. So I'm like, okay, like I can do this for you. I think I didn't invite her to the maintenance program because she wanted it to just be like a one. Oh, actually, maybe I did invite her to the maintenance program. So I invited her to my website maintenance program for this site. But what I didn't know is that the site hadn't been updated in like years, like at least 6 to 8 years.
Oh,
it hadn't been updated. And the thing with WordPress sites is that when you go on the back end, if it hasn't been updated in a long time, and if the theme that was used to develop it is no longer being updated, it's like the site could break very, very easily. So I talked to her initially about what she wanted for the site, what updates she wanted done. But then when I went in the back end of the site and was trying to do the updates, it was going to require way more time than I thought because the site was broken. So I had to do all these workarounds to try and fix this broken site that really couldn't be fixed. So I'm looking at it like, yo, this site needs to be rebuilt. But I had already spent probably like 12 hours, 13 hours on trying to make these updates for her. So I then turned around and tried to send her a bill. And she's like, but my updates aren't done. And I'm like, well, your site is not working right. But I spent all this time on it. And so we were going back and forth. I definitely undercharged. And yeah, so I had to end that relationship. I did lose like money out of it because my time is precious, but she was getting all like, she was just getting attitude-y and just, I don't know, acting really cheap. And what I learned from that is that, you don't have to take everybody. For her in particular, I feel like she was a low paying client. And I've noticed that people that are like really kind of chintzy with money or are saying, oh, my budget is so tight, I ain't got money, give me a deal. Like sometimes those are the worst people to work with.
And they are.
So yeah, she got fired. I need to be done with it because it was causing me more stress trying to help her then, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes issuing a refund is worth your peace of mind because nothing is more valuable than having that clarity in conscious and spirit.
Yeah.
And you have people sometimes that weigh on you. And, it's hard to set boundaries sometimes when people are upset about what's going on with your service. Like it's going to happen, and they will be calling you, they'll be texting you, they'll be emailing, and at all times of the day and night. And really, honestly, it's about setting boundaries and not letting people take advantage of you and where you are and what you're giving them, because your services are valuable. Your time is valuable. Your peace of mind is precious, and you just have to cut things off sometimes. So,
yeah. Did you feel like you ever had issues with setting boundaries and as entrepreneur?
Boundaries?
Or did you feel like you were being walked all over by
with the person I just talked about, kind of, because I kept letting her get away with not being accountable. Like, I didn't hold her accountable. So I felt like because I was trying to be nice and thoughtful and understanding about where she was and some of the barriers that she may have encountered in family life, because when you're working with entrepreneurs, a lot of times like their personal life is bleeding all over the business, and there's really nothing you can do to create demarcation. It's not like when you're at corporate and you just cut it off and you come home and you're away from everybody. A lot of times you work from home or, you're working around the clock just to get things done or to keep up. And so her personal life was just, at one point she would come on the call like extremely emotional, and I had to kind of be a helper, a therapist, like talk her through it. And I didn't mind that part of things. I really understood, but I needed to hold her more accountable, and I had to learn how to kind of, like put on my big girl panties and have difficult conversations with people, because at the end of the day, she's going to look at her progress and blame me.
Yeah.
And it's because I didn't set those boundaries. Like, has that happened to you before?
Yeah. So I think I definitely feel like there's been a few cases where I kind of felt walked over. And a little bit it has to do with my personality. So I already am like a type of person who's like non-confrontational. And so in business, and I also I try and be very professional, like in business and how I represent my company. So the combination of someone that's walking over you, but you're in business representing the company, don't want a bad review. It was difficult for me to navigate. This one client in particular, I had a friendship with her. I had known her through a program that was in like a coaching program. And, I looked to her as like a big sister. She was like super sweet.
The program that you did with the people that I know?
Yeah, my first business coach.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so this is someone that we had shared a hotel room together before. We talked pretty frequently, like definitely considered her a friend. And so we ended up working together, which happens a lot because of the type of work I do or whatever. So we ended up working together, and I don't know if something was going on in her personal life or in her marriage or whatever during that time, or she was just showing her true colors. But when she got upset with me, she went really low. Like, she was very mean, very nasty. And one, it caught me off guard because I'm like, I thought this is so, she was like my friend. I would think that if they were unhappy about something, they would be able to communicate it in a way that you would communicct to a friend, right? Someone you care about.
Yes.
Whatever.
I know homie off the street. Like,
right.
We're
yeah.
cool.
So that was crazy. And I feel like when I would see, I was at the point where I was scared to open my email. I was not looking forward to like looking at my phone because I literally was having like almost like a panic attack when I would see her name just pop up anywhere. And that feeling, even after we were done working together, because we did end up completing the project.
By the grace of God.
Yeah, but she, I definitely should have set stronger boundaries. And that reaction that I was feeling of like with the panic attack and my heart, just really racing months after we had stopped working together, and I was still feeling it. Because we also had a business partnership together too. Whatever. So we like were, we had worked a lot together. Yeah. So that particular instance, I really felt walked over. I really didn't feel good about the situation. I wanted to fire her as a client, but it felt more complicated because she was a friend. I don't call her friend no more. A partner. Yeah, she was a business partner. But so it was just like, it was feeling really complicated. And then also at that time, my money was like lower. Like I didn't have a good reserve for refunds, which, again, we talked about profit first in the past. Profit first can help you have more money in your expense account for unforeseen circumstances like needing to fire a terrible client. But at that time, I don't think I was following profit first and stuff. So my money was low. I didn't have enough money to give her back a refund or anything like that. And, it was just a really bad situation. So I took that situation once it was done and I said, ain't never gonna leave me again.
Not never.
Like, no, not never. So now I wouldn't say I'm nice, nasty. Not nasty. But I still keep it very professional, but I am much more direct. And if I don't like the way that you are treating me now at this point, I'm going to let you know. But what allowed me to be at this point now is one, having that experience with her, and then also having other experiences in my personal life where I really had to confront confrontation. And so over the last few years, not only was I strengthening my personal life and getting better in that, but it bled into my business too. So as a person, entrepreneurship, it's such a big personal development, thing. So as a person now, I still I don't like confrontation and stuff, but I've realized that if I feel like those feelings, that panic attack and stuff, like if I'm feeling any type of emotion reaction from that, I'm not as scared to have a conversation, and I also am not as scared to be direct. I think before I just was scared to be direct. And then I also, one of the things I learned, sorry, I feel like I'm going on a rant, but I'm upset. Another thing I learned is that it's okay to tell your clients when things are going on in your personal life that are impacting your work. And that was something that was really, was one of the reasons that she was unhappy with me, is because I had a period 2 years ago where my mom was diagnosed with early Alzheimer's, and I had to do a lot of caregiving for her. But not only did I need to do that, I emotionally had to process that this was happening or whatever. I'm an only child, or half only child, but my mom's the only child, super close to my mom. So that year, if it would take me maybe 1 or 2 months to do a website, that year would take me 4 months to do it. Like everything that I was doing, it would take me double the amount of time because it was hard to concentrate, for extended periods of time. I was in and out of the house or my office. And now I have no problem communicating like, hey, I know that we had this project that we were working on, and I know how important it is to your business, but this personal thing has happened to me and unfortunately is impacting your project. And, you know, you should have some level understanding that things like this can occur. If that is not something that you're understanding of, you need to go to a bigger corporation. But as a small business, we're people, you know, not small people, but we're individual people.
Yeah,
you know, sometimes
lives and feelings
and sometimes it happens. And so
you don't have a team to delegate to if it's just you doing a specific part of the project or a specific part of that work. Like, you have to care for yourself first, and being able to be very professional but firm on specific boundaries.
Yes.
Like, you had to do that for your well-being. That is your mommy. You know what I mean? Like, we don't play about our mamas, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But it could be anything that's going on, you know, who knows? But I have found that being honest with the clients, and not just ones that are difficult or giving you whatever, but like if you're going to be late on a project and you're late because of a personal issue, you know, I found that communicating, you don't have to give every detail, but communicating that you're going through something that is impacting. For the most part, people have been very like open and supportive. When I finally communicated in that, you know, 2 years ago, like, hey.
Yeah, I remember getting that email.
Oh, yeah. And it was, I never thought I don't know. I didn't know it was okay to send that email.
Yeah. But I also think like I always go back to our experiences in corporate America. When you're in corporate, a lot of times it's not okay to be honest and vulnerable about what you're going through personally, because people don't tend to care.
Yeah, it's like you're faking a smile, faking whatever.
Yeah, and you're just kind of pushing through something that needs to be addressed. And that's part of the reason why I was so kind of not broken, but I had a really hard time in corporate America because I was pushing through a lot and stuffing down a lot and just kind of trying to work through things. So in all aspects of life, keep it professional, but you have to be firm on your boundaries, firm on your triggers, like firm on those things that are really impacting you personally. Because when your clients see you as a whole, full person, they're actually pretty understanding. They relate. They see you as a human. You know what I mean? Like, I know we want to keep things super professional all the time, but yeah, when you admit to being a person and not a superhero, a lot of times it helps you, and it takes off that pressure. It takes off especially as Black women, you know, we have to be magical. Magical Negroes, honey.
Yeah.
But that's not reality. That's not honest. It's not true.
Yeah.
So, woo, my Lord. Yeah. So, moving on, another good lesson and something that you touched on was do not discount your services for clients. Find the people who value the work that you do at the prices that you provide them.
Yeah. Nothing. One of the biggest pains you could feel in entrepreneurship is the pain of doing a whole bunch of work for little to no money. So you brought on this client because you're like, okay, I'll take this extra $500. I'll take this whatever. And you're kind of helping them out. And then they may be the difficult client, or they usually, those things that you undercharge, you usually just end up spending double the amount of time that you were planning on it. And it's just a different feeling when you're working and you know, like, you're doing it for next to nothing money. Like, I hate that feeling. I could not do that feeling no more.
And then they come to you nasty with an attitude, and you like, I have this pleasant person over here that is paying 3 times the amount that you are. Why am I even spending time on this project? Because I need a little bit of extra something, like so don't discount your services, because for whatever reason, it always turns out to be that person that's very unpleasant.
Yeah.
That does not.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things that I've done, so I do sometimes still talk to prospects where it seems as though they may not be able to pay a lot. So sometimes what I'll do if I'm being nice is I will, instead of giving them like my flat fees for website or whatever they need, I'll say, I'll charge you hourly for this or whatever. I don't discount my hourly. So I'm like, my hourly is $125 an hour. And I think that this project is probably like an 8-hour project. I'm going to need 50% deposit up front. So sometimes I'll do it hourly instead of giving them like, the full package. Just remember, to be like true to your time. And if you are getting close to hitting the time that you estimated to them, you need to be really communicative. And I try to never do like 100% complete project before it's paid in full. I'll do 90, maybe. Sometimes I don't even do 90. I try and I don't mind doing payment plans, but usually my last payment is a payment for them to launch something live. So like you don't want to give them something that they can use. Like you don't want to give them, for me, fully launched website, full complete logo, and they haven't like paid in full. So what I'll do in those cases is I'll give them a watermarked logo. So maybe the logo is complete, but the version that they're looking at has a big watermark on it with my company's name on it.
Yes.
And then for the website, there's certain stages that I know. Like, okay, you gave me one payment, I'll do the website prototype. And then your second payment is due. I'm not doing your web draft until I get that second payment. Yeah. And then I'm not launching your site live. So your site is going to live on my staging URL, which is not something that you are going to be able to be proud to share and everything until you can give me that final payment. So protect yourself.
And exactly. And for our type of work, you just pay up front. It's a monthly cost. You're going to pay on the first of the month. Just like, well.
And that's before you guys even do the work.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Because we can't halfway do accounting. It's done.
Once it's done, it's done.
Once it's done, it's done. We can't take it back. Can't take back the hours. So, but that's a lot. That is really good. And I would say, like, watch your red flags. Like, a lot of times when people are interviewing you for work, you need to interview them for work. Like, it's just like a regular interview. Like, if I am sitting down with a company, they're interviewing me, but I also need to interview them. I need to make sure that there are no red flags about working here or working with this person, because, man, we've had clients, literally another client, that they spoke so poorly of their previous accountant or their, whoever they worked with before. And that should have, sparked some alarms of like, oh man, you're really trashing this person on this call with me, and I just met you. And
that happened to me too. Like one of my most problematic clients had fired 2 or 3 people they have worked with before we had even gotten started. So like if they're on the call talking about, oh, it didn't work out with this last XYZ person, that's a yellow flag.
Shall ask some more questions, because sometimes it's a fluke. Sometimes it's like, oh, it just didn't work out with this person. Maybe they did something wrong, whatever. But a lot of times it's that person that you're working with, and they're the common denominator. Exactly. Take it back, because we dealt with this client, and they literally were like, they did not listen to us. Right? They did not listen. Situation. Picture this, Sicily. 1963, just kidding. Did you watch Golden Girls?
It's been a while.
You didn't even get that. Okay, anyway.
I don't watch much TV.
Oh, you're so smart, blah. Anyway, as I watch Real Housewives. Anyway, so this client, they were building a new store, right? They're trying to expand fast. So they're building another brick and mortar, trying to franchise or building another location. And so when you're building a location, it takes a lot of cash. But when you're starting off in a location, you may not have the type of sales that you need to cover the type of cash that you invested to build out the space and get your new, it's an avenue for you to make money, but you're not going to have the money up front.
Yeah.
So the best thing to do that we would say is to, if you can finance the build out, then finance the build out. So you'll have the liquid cash to do the things that you need, AKA pay people, to continue to do the service and work. And so there's no break in service in what you're providing to your client, especially in a in-person store. Like, it has to be manned. There has to be people there. You can't just not pay people and have them working. Yeah. And so we were like, okay, well, while you have this cash, before you invest all this money into your build out, you need to apply for this loan now, like ASAP, because right now you have cash. And what they want to know is that they're going to get their money back. Like, lenders want their money back, okay? They not going
to.
So it's good
that they have cash.
When you have cash, apply for loans when you have cash. Because we all know cash will be there today and gone tomorrow. So as an entrepreneur, when you have cash, apply for the loans that you may need to float your business until you get your next influx of cash. And typically when you're investing in something, it should have a return. So the cash should be on the way if you're doing it the right way.
Yeah.
Of course, they don't listen to us. A month goes by, they haven't applied. Another month goes by, they haven't applied. Now, they had a couple of complexities in their application, but we gave them options to work around that.
So what was the red flag?
So the red flag was that they trashed the person that they worked with before. Oh. But now we're kind of seeing why it didn't work out.
Yeah.
Because you're not listening. And so now you're going to go to the next person and you're going to shat on us.
Yeah.
As if we did something wrong, because now now they hit a cash flow issue, right? They open their new store. It's beautiful. It's exciting. They hit a cash flow issue. Yeah. Why? Because they used all their cash to build out the store.
Yeah.
But if you would have listened to us and got the loan when you had cash, you could have used the loan to pay for the work for the store and had cash to pay the people.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't be as stressed. So red flags, when you see the red flags, because now who knows what she's saying about us to other people.
Yeah.
Because it's our fault that now she doesn't have cash.
Yeah. I had a potential red flag that I think I avoided just a couple days ago. I had a call. Well, so I've been doing like prospecting on Instagram. So I, have been DMing different people that my company page follows. And basically I've been making an offer for this, basically it's kind of like a marketing recommendation document. It's for a company that they're like, I know there's some things in my branding and marketing, or maybe just marketing, that's like not working or that I need to change, but I need somebody experienced to kind of tell me what to do next. So I put that offer out in Instagram, and there was a girl that responded like almost immediately. She's like, yes, this is what I need. I'm interested in it. Oh, whatever. And I said, okay, great. Like, here's the link to book a quick call. She books the call same day. Oh, whatever. I'm like, okay, now she needs it. She's excited. Oh, whatever. So I have the call with her, and I do the call just like I do it with everybody else. And she's saying, yes, I need to learn how to market. I need help marketing. I might need somebody else to do it. I'm trying to figure out this. I'm trying to figure out that. And I said, okay, well, this is what I'm offering. And this is going to be, I think it would be super, super beneficial for you. I do have, other packages that I offer, but I think that this is the best step. And from there, we can talk about other things, that we can do to assist you. And so she's like, yes, I want it. And I'm like, okay, so, I take Visa or MasterCard or whatever. Like, I'll take your payment on the phone because you give me all these yeses. And so she's like,
money. I didn't know money was involved.
But she's like, okay, I'm going to do it. And I'm like, okay. And so, I asked for her credit card information and we schedule like the date and time of our meeting. Asked for her credit card information again. And she acts like she has another call online, which maybe she did. I don't know. So then she leaves out. She comes back in like a minute or two later, and she's like, I need to talk to my husband about this. And she's like, do you have testimony? Well, she said, do you have referrals? Do you have blah, blah, blah? And I'm like thinking like,
you were just so excited to work with us.
Not even just that. So I'm up leveling here. And this service that I'm offering is my cheapest service. It's $500. So cheapest service, super, super valuable. I have a ton of experience. If she does any research, she'll see like I'm an award-winning, in my field, branding, marketing expert. I know what I'm doing. So like, if she needs so many different things to like tell her like, okay, go, like if honestly, and this is going to sound terrible, but if you need to contact one of my past clients just for this 1 week service, honey, I don't think this is going to be the right, thing.
Right.
So when she said like, I need to talk to my husband, I didn't even follow up with her because in my spirit, I just felt like this might not be the right client. So what I did is I emailed her a link. I said, here's a link. If if you want to sign up, here's the link. You can sign up, you can pay, etc. or whatever. But I can bet $100 that she is not going to sign up and pay because she's operating in fear. She has a full-time job, so I'm sure she can afford the money, but obviously she's not as invested in her business success as she says. So that was
and sometimes it's okay to let people figure that out on their own.
Yeah,
they just need to go ahead and take the time that you need to simmer about what you want, and then you can come back if you'd like. There's no bad blood. Like, just remember, if somebody says no to you, it doesn't reflect anything about you. It's not about you. It's about them and what they need most of the time. Unless you've had a very blatant conflict with this person.
Right.
They're saying no because of something that has to do with them or their needs. If they come and you're not meeting their needs, you're just not a fit.
Right.
It doesn't say anything about your competency or your effectiveness as whatever you are doing.
Yeah.
So never, ever, ever let a no make you feel like there's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
Because like this person, she might just not have wanted to pay for it, which means that she's not an ideal client. Yeah.
So she was so eager, but then
because she just wanted you to keep giving and giving and giving in the call. And when you cut that off and said, okay, so if you want this full service, this is what it's going to be. And she opted out. Next.
Yeah. Yeah. And maybe she'll come back around if she does, fine. If she doesn't, it's okay. Was it, not the right fit.
She just goes into the nurture sequence.
Right.
Like, don't ever be mad at anyone for not opting in. Just keep them nurtured, and maybe one day they'll come back around if they're supposed to.
And we'll talk more about nurturing in a future episode. So,
what are we toasting to?
What are we toasting to? I feel like we need to toast to peace of mind, because difficult clients are the exact opposite. Peace of mind. I want to live a life with, a lot of peace of mind.
Protect your peace, honey. Protect your peace.
Yeah, so we're toasted to protecting your peace.
Amen. Blink, 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 blink.